Two tropical systems and extreme heat building across the eastern states. That is the situation we are looking at this weekend. Tropical Cyclone Launa is offshore from the Kimberley coast in Western Australia, a Category 1 system with wind gusts reaching 110 kilometres per hour. This system has done well to intensify despite battling some unfavourable conditions. Wind shear has been working against it, but conditions are improving as it makes its final approach to the coast. The concerning aspect of Launa is its structure. The strongest winds are on the northern and eastern side of the system, and that S precisely the side that S going to cross the coastline first. The Dampier Peninsula, Cape Levesque and areas around Derby are in the direct path. Landfall is expected around 3 o'clock this arvo as a Category 2 system. Wind gusts at the crossing point will reach 150 to 155 kilometres per hour. That's a solid system. But Western Australia has seen these before, particularly at this time of year. The Dampier Peninsula is built for this sort of weather. Infrastructure is designed to handle tropical cyclones. The more populated centres like Derby and Broome will cop the weaker impacts. Derby sits a bit further inland. Broome is protected and will mainly see southeasterly winds rather than the stronger northeastern side of the system. Rainfall is the bigger story here. The Bureau of Meteorology is forecasting widespread heavy falls. Most of the Dampier Peninsula can expect at least 150 millimetres today. Broome and surrounding areas could see similar totals. Up towards Coolgerman and Cygnet Bay, falls could reach 250 millimetres by tomorrow morning. The rain continues tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms throughout Sunday and Monday. Then watch what happens as this system tracks inland. Tuesday through Friday, this low-pressure system will move through central Western Australia, down into the goldfields, across the interior and eventually reach the Nullarbor by Wednesday and Thursday. If you are travelling anywhere from Laverton across to Warburton or crossing the Nullarbor from Tuesday onwards, keep this system in mind. Road conditions will deteriorate. Flooding is possible, flash flooding is a concern, and road closures are likely when you're re-dealing with this much rainfall in those areas. Northern Western Australia will also see flooding concerns from this system. Most tropical cyclones weaken quickly once they move inland. This one, 1T, it S tracking fast and it S directly connected to the monsoon trough, which means it S carrying a massive amount of moisture. That moisture will sustain it well inland. Southwestern Western Australia might even see a few drops this weekend, particularly around Australia Day. Nothing major down there. 2 to 3 millimetres for most areas, maybe up to 10 millimetres around the southwest capes. Now let's broaden this out and look at what S happening across the rest of the country. The pressure map shows low pressure systems dominating. Tropical low 18U is sitting in the Gulf of Carpentaria, still over water, but it has an interesting future ahead of it. Cyclone Launa we've just discussed. Then we've got troughs moving across central Western Australia into South Australia. As these systems shift east, extreme heat is going to build through New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, parts of southwestern Queensland, pockets of Western Australia and the Northern Territory. Very few places will escape this heat. Interestingly, the eastern coast looks relatively stable. A weak high-pressure ridge is developing in the Tasman Sea. That S keeping things calm across southeast Queensland for the next couple of days. But once the troughing arrives around Monday, temperatures are going to climb through northeastern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. Right now, across New South Wales, conditions are already warm. Carcoar in central New South Wales hit 27 degrees before lunch today with a forecast top of 32. Without a proper cool breeze, overnight minimums will struggle to drop below the high teens or low 20s, despite forecasts suggesting 13 degrees. South Australia is seeing warm conditions today, increasing to very hot tomorrow. We're re-looking at temperatures in the low to mid-40s, pushing into western New South Wales. Central South Australia will be very hot throughout today. Monday brings extreme heat. Ceduna is looking at a top of 47 degrees. Temperatures continue climbing through parts of the Eyre Peninsula, potentially reaching 48 to 49 degrees. Across pockets of New South Wales, we're re-expecting 45 to 47 degrees. Victoria will see temperatures up to 45 degrees on Monday. Tuesday is when things get stupid hot. Temperatures tickling 50 degrees around the Mildura area in New South Wales and parts of Victoria. Tuesday may see January records broken, particularly through parts of New South Wales and Victoria. with warm westerly winds as well. Fire danger ratings are climbing to extreme, even catastrophic in a few spots. Victoria S, awful run with bushfire weather continues through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Melbourne is looking at a top of 43 degrees. The heat doesn't really push out to the New South Wales east coast. The sea breeze and easterly flow keep things cooler for coastal areas. But inland, Western New South Wales is expecting 49 degrees on Wednesday, which interestingly will be slightly cooler than Tuesday. This heat continues Thursday and Friday before things finally start to settle down. But we're re-looking at 5 to 6 days of extreme temperatures through inland areas. This is a significant heat wave event, not the worst we've seen, but it's serious enough to warrant attention. Fire danger is a major concern. With temperatures in the mid to high 40s and westerly winds, the Forest Fire Danger Index is climbing into the extreme range. Total fire bans are likely across multiple districts. If you're in rural areas, now is the time to review your bushfire plan. Know your trigger points. Know when to leave. Leaving early is always the safest option when fire danger reaches extreme or catastrophic levels. Check on elderly neighbours and mates. High temperatures like this put strain on everyone, but particularly older people and those with existing health conditions. Make sure they've got adequate cooling, plenty of water, and someone checking in on them regularly. Livestock need attention as well. Ensure animals have access to shade and fresh water. Check water troughs multiple times a day in this heat. Paddocks dry out quickly when you're re-pushing 45 to 50 degrees. For those in North Queensland, conditions are quite different. South of Cairns, it's hot and humid, but not every day. The monsoon season and local convection brings relief from the heat. And here's something interesting that might surprise people further south. The tropical far north will actually be cooler than the majority of the country over the next week or so. It might get a bit wet up there, but that beats desert heat any day. Mount Carbine this morning was sitting at 28 degrees with 90% humidity at 10:15. Minimum overnight was 27 degrees with overcast conditions and light rain. Yesterday peaked at 35 degrees. Cairns has been seeing surprising gusts with the rainfall coming through. Now let's talk about Southeast Queensland and what S expected for Australia Day. There has been some speculation about severe thunderstorm activity on Monday. Let S look at what the models are actually showing and what S realistic. The setup on Monday has some concerning elements: high moisture levels, temperatures pushing into the mid to high 30s, a southeasterly change moving through in the afternoon. Those ingredients together can produce severe thunderstorms. But weather forecasting isn't just about having the right ingredients. Everything needs to come together at the right time and in the right way. Looking at the upper level winds, we've got a trough across southern Queensland, but the wind shear is almost non-existent. Without wind shear, thunderstorms struggle to organise and intensify. Sunday looks the same. Low wind shear environment. This just isn't healthy for thunderstorm development. Conditions are almost there for a significant outbreak on Monday. Almost. You need everything in place for thunderstorms to go absolutely wild. Many of you remember November 24th last year, 14 centimetre hailstones, tornadoes carving a path across southeast Queensland. That was a benchmark event. We had everything lined up perfectly that day. Monday has similar convective energy available. We've got a southeasterly change coming through in the afternoon, which is notorious for producing high-end severe activity, but we don't have the wind shear. We've also got thunderstorms likely moving from southeast to northwest rather than southwest to northeast. That's unfavourable. The trajectory matters. So even though we've almost got everything coming together, it's not perfect, and that S going to hold things back on Monday. Thunderstorm activity is possible, but a major outbreak is unlikely. It will get very warm through southeast Queensland on Monday, though. Not as warm as some people have been suggesting online, but we're still looking at spots reaching 38 to 40 degrees in northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland. With humidity, the feels like temperature will be significantly higher. Coastal areas might see 36 or 37 degrees with 40 to 50% humidity, giving a feels like temperature of 42 to 43 degrees. Stay cool, stay hydrated. It is Australia Day and at S yes, going to be very warm. The lack of thunderstorm activity to cool things off is probably a good thing in this case, because if storms did get going on Monday with that energy available, they would get going properly. Tuesday brings a similar story, but a bit further north. A couple of thunderstorms possible through the Burnett region and inland from the Sunshine and Capricornia coasts. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, conditions calm down. Then we re-looking out into the Coral Sea. From around the 1st of February onwards, there's potential for a significant tropical cyclone event in the South Pacific. Whether that impacts New Caledonia, Fiji, Vanuatu, or moves into the Coral Sea is still uncertain. Models are showing various possibilities. This isn't something to worry about or prepare for in Southeast Queensland right now. Nothing is on the forecast. But it is a situation worth monitoring over the coming week. Up in the Gulf of Carpentaria, tropical low 18U is still offshore. There has been some discussion about whether the centre of circulation is inland or still over water. Looking at the satellite imagery and the rotation patterns, the centre appears to still be offshore. But this is a minor detail because the impact is going to be the same regardless. The heavy rainfall from this system is south of the centre. Locations north of Normanton along the southwestern coast of Cape York Peninsula are seeing heavy falls throughout today. Showers and thunderstorms are streaming around the Lizard Island area into the Daintree rainforest and north of Cairns. Moderate to heavy falls are building north of Port Douglas into the Cooktown area through this morning and this arvo. Falls between 50 to 100 millimetres are possible today in those areas. More widespread across Cape York Peninsula, 20 to 80 millimetres throughout today and tomorrow. This tropical low has an outside chance of becoming a tropical cyclone, particularly if it reduces its interaction with land tomorrow. But by tomorrow night, it's likely interacting with land around Burketown and Normanton. The chance of tropical cyclone development becomes very minimal at that point. The northern parts of the far north Queensland coast will continue seeing moderate falls. Cooktown, Daintree rainforest area. The best rainfall accumulations are likely north of Cairns right now. Unfortunately, the latest models suggest the Cassowary coast misses out on significant rainfall this week. That is not ideal. Areas down there could use a decent top-up. But we're looking at 150 to 300 millimetres north of the Daintree around Cooktown. The Cassowary coast will be on the lighter side of those totals. Falls between 100 to 200 millimetres expected there. Cairns will struggle to reach 150 millimetres, though it's still possible. Let me bring this together. We've got Tropical Cyclone Launa making landfall on the Kimberley coast this afternoon. Category 2 strength, 150 to 155 kilometre per hour wind gusts. Heavy rainfall across the Dampier Peninsula and surrounding areas. That system then tracks inland through the week, bringing flooding concerns across central Western Australia and potentially the Nullarbor. Extreme heat building across South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and parts of Queensland. Temperatures reaching the high 40s, potentially 50 degrees in isolated spots. This heat persists through much of next week. Fire danger climbing to extreme and catastrophic levels in some districts. Southeast Queensland stays relatively stable through the weekend but heats up on Monday. Australia Day will be hot and humid. Thunderstorm activity possible but a major outbreak unlikely due to unfavourable wind shear. Tropical low 18U in the Gulf of Carpentaria bringing heavy rainfall to Cape York Peninsula and areas north of Cairns. 150 to 300 millimetres possible in some areas. Looking further ahead, potential tropical development in the Coral Sea from early February. Too early for specifics, but worth keeping an eye on. For those in fire-prone areas, review your bushfire plans now. Know your trigger points. Know when to leave. In extreme or catastrophic fire danger, leaving early is the safest option. Wait to see what happens. For those dealing with the heat, limit outdoor activity during the hottest part of the day. Stay hydrated. Check on vulnerable people. Ensure livestock have shade and water. For those in cyclone-affected areas in Western Australia, secure loose items now. Stock up on essentials. Follow advice from emergency services. This is a significant weather event across multiple states. Not the end of the world, but serious enough to warrant preparation and attention. You've seen weather events before. You know what to do. Be prepared, stay safe, and look after your mates and neighbours. temperatures. The Bureau of Meteorology will continue updating warnings and forecasts. Check their website regularly for the latest information specific to your area. Local emergency services will provide guidance if conditions deteriorate. That's the forecast. Multiple systems, extreme heat and tropical activity. A lot happening across the country this weekend and into next week. Stay safe, stay informed and make sensible decisions based on conditions in